All right, hey guys, we are going to take a look at silver through the lens of Elliott wave theory. Not interested in making predictions, much more interested in presenting parameters so we know where the risk lies, okay? It's really about risk management and parameters. And for that, Elliott wave theory is fantastic. Let's dive into the chart. All right, so not much has changed. We still have the same parameter up here at 2806. And we've got a couple of levels down here that we're looking for. Now, yesterday's video, I was talking about this as being a three-wave bounce into a standard area for a wave 4. Since then, we have done nothing but chop in this range. Now, is it possible that wave 5 can play out in a three-wave move? Because this already doesn't really look like an impulse down for wave 5, which we would expect to see. So, of course, it's always possible that it's bottoming right here. I mean, anything is possible, okay, at any time. Elliott wave is really great at laying out parameters. So we have this parameter up here, which is the bottom of this wave 1. That is why we are always looking at the 2806 as a top level, call it a ceiling if you like. And then for the lows down here, we've got a couple of levels to keep an eye on, and we've got some fibs down here which relate to, see these white fibs down here? These white fibs at the lows down here are taken from these white labels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the fibs that represent those measurements. So as you can see, there is a lot of confluence down in this area between not just the fibs, but I've got a ratio box going on. And I've also got these red lines, which are taken from important lows over to the left. I'm curious now, I want to put on the 2.236 fib. Now it's kind of interesting. There's a target rich environment down here on these lows if price wishes to come down. So let me try to dial in a little bit more specific parameters. If this is going to move in threes, which honestly it already is. Look at this. We have three waves up for wave 4. We have three waves down to this level. Then we have three waves up to this level, which I think is another ABC. And then we have the beginnings of a potential another three-wave down. But if I look at this entire move, what I'm starting to see is a B, and potentially a C wave down. So let me just put on these levels, A, B. I can already see this timing wise, this would have to come over. Let's just move these over and imagine what might, maybe it's going to finally sell off in the overnight or finally break out in the overnight. My preference is to see the Europe session or the Asia session sell off, preferably the Euro session. And I'm going to change the degree of this ABC. Okay, so as you know, A, B, C is a corrective wave, but it can also be playing out as a diagonal for wave 5, which means wave 5, which is normally 5 waves, may shape up into 3 waves, and the wave C should be composed of 5 waves. Now, it's important to know that at this scale, meaning at this tiny degree that we were looking at here, it is very unreliable to take measurements. I mean, I've already had 3 or 4 different ways to look at this chop zone in here. It is possible if this is already a nano 1, 2, then I can see already this is going to extend if it is in fact going to play out as a impulsive wave C. So you'd end up with something like 1, 2, the wave 3 would have to really extend and then get a wave 4 bounce and then get a final shove somewhere down here. Now I'm using as my guide several different parameters, several different ideas based on Elliott wave. And really at this small scale, it is truly speculation, okay? Because at this scale, it's just very unreliable. So I'm going to leave these on here. I'm going to leave these fibs on here, but you have to understand that these are not the primary parameters. Okay, this is just some speculative type parameters that I've observed on the smaller degree, on the nano degree. Okay, so the idea would be we are in the process of bottoming. Bottoming is a process, not an event. So if this is really going to play out, it's going to be, if this is going to play out as I'm drawing it up here, it's going to be something along these lines. Oh, geez. Whoops. Let me just start over. I'm just trying to put this 5-wave move. Let me turn off my magnet. So, I mean, this is highly speculative, but it could be something like this. A 5-wave move down into these lows, and actually, given how much time this thing has burned off the clock all day today, just chopping in a range, I would not be surprised that when it finally breaks loose, that you get a little deeper. So this down here is a ratio box. So anywhere down here, and on the larger degree, you see there are these fibs down here that make more sense. Now, this is a perfect teaching moment. The larger degree 5-wave structure, these fibs are very typical to see a 5-wave move terminate anywhere down in here. It happens to coincide with wave 5 ratio also terminating in this same area that these high probability fibs terminating. So even though this smaller degree structure, which I'm actually going to put in purple to make sure that we don't get confused, these smaller degree structures, in order for this to be 5 waves based on the size of this being a 1-2, I mean, these are out of whack because you're already at the over 400% ratio down here. This is the 2,618. But at the smaller scale, you got to allow for unusual proportions. Now, sometimes it plays out perfectly, but more times than not on the nano, it's just not reliable. So I'm sticking to these white fibs as the primary fib guidance. So a parameter, it's still the same, 2806 to the top side. You know, is this the floor already? I mean, it could be, but to me, it just doesn't seem likely because it would be perfection if this can come down here in 5 waves and get into here. So what my plan is, I happen to be short in my trade account. And in my long-term account, I'm layering into longs. So the idea would be I am going to buy somewhere in here with an open order. That open order has been there for a couple of days already and a couple of sessions, I should say. And then I have more open orders down here. The key is to stay small enough that you can layer into longs into your target area. And then I will not start sweating unless price breaks this level down here, which is 25.56. So just call it 25.50. So basically, we have a $2.50 range. Now, I know that's crazy, right? I know I'm not trying to take $2.50 worth of heat. So I want to dial this in best I can. Now, if this comes up here and breaks out above here, I'm going to consider the structure, how I may be wrong. I'm not going to get into that for this video. But if this comes up and gets above 2806, if it does this and you get something that looks impulsive, like something that might resemble a wave 3, I will reconsider what's going on in the structure here, as if this may be the more lasting low. But I don't think so, because of all this overlap and this choppiness in here is not indicative of something getting ready to take off. Although price is king, not up to me. Okay, so there you go. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe and like if you want to keep getting updated. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions about Elliott Wave, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to reply. And if you're looking for a club to join to help you in your trading, especially the psychology of trading, I highly recommend the Professor Trades, an amazing private club for less than $1 a day. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Take good care. Whatever you do when you're trading silver, don't get killed. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.